welcome to the Abnormal, Strange, and Weird podcast, a show dedicated to all such things and everything in between. Now sit back and relax and join us as we talk about weird shit. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all. Welcome to ASW, Abnormal, Strange, and Weird. This is episode 13. Last week we were talking about astral projection, and Nikola Tesla came up somewhere along the line, and we were like, oh boy, let's talk about this fella.
Yes.
See, now I really enjoy this man. I mean, he was, a futurist, an inventor. He was
a magician.
Yeah, absolutely just amazing all the way around. And I knew some stuff about him, but, as I dug, it was pretty incredible what he had like thousands of patents, and apparently, he would sell a lot of them off just to get by. So like,
he was really, really bad with money.
Yeah, it sounded that way. Extremely bad. Well, so he was born in, I wrote it down here. I think it was 1800s, right? 1856 in Croatia. Mm. And one of the things I came across was apparently his mom was just insane with inventions herself. I had no idea. So she would just mill around the house inventing small appliances, like electrical appliances and shit. And so he was totally inspired by her. His dad was a priest, and he wanted him to become a priest, go down the priesthood. And he was like, fuck you. I'm going to do some science. And thank God he did, because he pretty much revolutionized the world. Fucking nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He could do calculus in his head.
Really?
Yeah.
I can barely do anything anymore in my head.
His teachers, I guess, failed him for it, because he's got to be cheating. He's doing calculus in his head. They just didn't trust it.
They wanted to see the work or whatever. Mm-hmm. Some kids are great at that.
Oh, yeah.
Just visualizing it's absolutely insane. Well, yeah, so he stayed in Europe until his, I guess, late 20s. He had an idea. He went to 3 different schools, one in Austria, one in Germany, and one in Prague, I believe. And when he got out of school, just like it came to him, to the invention of the induction motor. And I guess to this day the induction motor is still used in so much crap. I wrote it down.
So many things. He was, I don't know what that is. So
the induction motor is a rotating magnetic field that makes unit drives for machines feasible, and it makes AC power transmission an economic necessity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually have a photo of it.
Let's see.
So this is his induction motor. So essentially, if you think of the company Tesla, how their electric motor works, it's the same kind of process. It's just, copper wiring or whatever that spins at a fast pace, and it creates AC current. Mm-hmm. He just came up with it, just sitting there thinking about it. And so I guess he really tried to push it in Europe, and no one would pull for it. Nobody. So he's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to America. And that's when he met our lovely Thomas Edison. And I'm sure, have you read any of their little follies?
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of Edison versus Tesla. Apparently he, totally fixed all of Edison's
Yeah, he hired him and then took all his shit. Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess they're collaborating, and basically Tesla was like, I can fix all of your things. And so he improved on all of this stuff. And, Edison was a totally DC guy, direct current. Do you know much about how direct current moves?
Yes, it's wasteful. You get half the amount as alternating current or whatever. Half the amount of voltage.
Well, and long distances just don't work very well. Mm-hmm. So if you took say from my house to your house, you would need something like a 10-foot diameter diameter wire to get the current all the way to your house.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he came up with alternating current, there was a bunch of wars. Like, what was the best? Fucking Edison was like killing elephants and shit. Either that or
Mm-hmm.
Tesla did it. It's disgusting.
Oh
Just to
yeah, I've seen
prove
those
which was
videos.
stronger. Ugh. What the fuck is wrong with those fellas?
Well, I think and what I remembered was maybe that was what he had said to people after he took all his work and improvements and whatnot. He was like, I hired him to do a job and now he's done. And
Yeah.
this is all what I have to offer after he'd robbed
Interesting.
him. Maybe that was his cover story.
Yeah, it sounded like Tesla, just like you said, was a bad businessman.
Oh
Awful.
yeah.
And Edison, he was a fucking mogul. He knew how to market things and just absolutely just money driven. He had, some great inventions too that have changed the world, but it makes you wonder how many were actually his.
Mm-hmm. He's maybe just a good organizer of
Yeah.
patents
Yeah.
and shit, you know,
Oh, definitely.
of fuck that guy. And like I hear, I mean, on when I used to have television, because now everything I stream everything.
Yeah, I think that's the
But
way. Yeah.
there was a show on PBS called like Thomas Edison. Like I can hear the song, but it's like Edison's workshop or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm like, you lost me at Thomas.
well,
Well, Ed.
it's definitely a household name. I bet you until fucking, Tesla, the car company, came along, I bet you nobody, nah, I shouldn't say nobody, but not many people recognized Nikola Tesla for what he had done.
So when I was probably 15 or 16, I read a book and I was so intrigued by this book that I fought through the 1800s language to read this book at 15.
Yeah.
My dad was like, are you like, he thought it was weird. He made fun of me for reading it until I got to the end of it. And then he was like, let's talk about it. Cause it
Yeah.
was a book written by Tesla's friend, kind of like chronicalizing like his and their interactions or
Hmm.
whatever. And that language, it was really difficult. I read every sentence like 5 or 6 times and not like ADHD style. It was me
Yeah.
trying to figure out
Yeah,
the
it
hell they
is
were
really.
talking about.
I was reading an interview of his in a magazine, and the way he spoke, you could tell it was just a different time. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And so how long was he in Croatia before he left? Because he was here in Colorado Springs by the time he was 40.
Yeah, something like in his 40s. No, he was in Croatia, well,
He
Europe
was,
until he was 28.
yeah.
So
So
he grew up in Croatia, but then he went to college in Germany. What did I say earlier? I had it in my mind. It don't matter. He was in Germany, Austria, and like Prague or something like that.
mm-hmm.
But in his
So
life,
just
I only looked at I mean, his inventions are so fucking long
mm-hmm.
and incredible. I wrote down 10 of them that just kind of stuck out to me. So he invented AC power, the Tesla coil, which is a cool one. The magnifying transmitter, which is, you know, one of his biggest things he wanted to achieve in life was free energy for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And with that magnifying transmitter, you'll like this one. He was able to get power to go from the resonance of the frequency of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So he figured out what the frequency of actual Earth was, and he could
Mm-hmm.
put two Tesla coils, and rather like an actual. You see how the Tesla coils work? I
Mm.
got a picture of it. Let's look at it.
Okay.
How it dissipates,
Ooh, that's ooh.
and see
Can I
him just
say?
sitting there,
Listen,
just hanging
that
out.
was faked. That was a faked photograph. His buddies were trying to get more grants for him.
Oh, really?
Yes, and there's another photograph that was like this where he's I don't know, he's more off to the side, but they did a couple trying to get funding I mean, it's beautiful. Like he could care less. There's lightning all around him or whatnot, but it's definitely a publicity
Well,
shot
that's still kind of how it looks. Even if
for
he's
sure.
not in the thing, it shows.
I'm sure he was though, but I don't know if you could. Well, who knows?
I could see if
But
I could
this
pull
was
up like a picture of another Tesla coil. I always liked that one. I wish that was true. You
mm.
ruined my life. Let's look up the
Take
Google.
it.
But
So
so
let
you
me
so
just
how it would
say,
dissipate like that into, and it would just absorb into the earth basically. With that transmitter, he can get the frequencies of the earth and actually get it to go from one point to another, which is mind-boggling. They're
it's
still trying to
so
perfect uh, wireless power. You know what I mean? To this day.
they're not. They're holding back on us.
Well,
So check this out though. Hang on a second. His he discovered that the ionosphere was 7 hertz. So he in Colorado Springs, what is it? The Tesla experimental station, his lab that he started building or moved into in May of 19 or 1899.
mm-hmm.
Um he sent or with that thing, the what the it's I mean to me I just hear amplifier, but you
Yeah,
say it's
essentially.
a
Well, you know they made weird names of everything back then. A
for sure, but what did he
magnifying transmitter.
yeah
Yeah.
and he said and people around him or who were there and witnessed it that there was just massive bright borealis like
Hmm.
aurora borealis whatever and
Sure.
um people they have said
So
that
he was
that kind of
charging.
ripped open this portal
Hmm.
or it lit up that area for and because you go into theta binaural beats for astral projection, you're in the 4 to 8 hertz
Hmm.
uh range. So I mean,
Think he tapped into that, huh?
absolutely.
That's
There's
nuts.
still weird shit that happens in Colorado Springs and people attribute it to that. I mean, I've certainly buy into it for sure.
The people
And a
are
lot
weird
of
down
like
there. That's for fucking sure.
so he conceptualized live streaming in cell phones and Wi-Fi and just thought about it and talked about it like it just was like
Hmm.
dawned on him. There's going to be something in people's pockets that can show them a World Series ball game and the atrocities of war just with the swipe of
Yeah.
whatever's in their hand at that point. He didn't say swipe,
Yeah. Well,
but
shit, man. He probably would have invented it if he lived longer.
he had these visions, right? Like he could just imagine something, he could pull it up in his brain.
Hmm.
So he said that there was like he was adamant there's a way to photograph our thoughts.
Hmm.
Um because and what he was saying, it made me think if he were digging into this hertz, this theta meditative states while he was working, either just spontaneously or it's something that he used and didn't talk about. um he was alone a lot of the time, so I mean
Hmm.
he probably was in such a state of in rhythm with that frequency, that a real deep, like in the zone
Totally. Well,
frequency, that out of body experience frequency 7, it's right there at the most intense of that range. It's a step down from the most intense, but like he the fake retinas with the photographing of thoughts, it was like he was seeing it from the other side. Instead of taking a photograph of the thoughts, they developed based on I don't know if it was based on his ideas or if it's like he prophesized it,
hmm.
because who knows what happened to all his works after he died. But um they turn images or light energy waves into electrical impulses with these fake retinas. It's how they work.
Hmm.
So it's almost how I understood it as I was um, listening was that, he was like, we can take photographs of thoughts. And anyway,
No, that's
you know,
intense. Well, it is intense. I don't see.
Because
Well, and he was one of the early developers of X-ray, so he
right,
was already trying to figure shit out like that.
he already knew it. That's what
Yeah,
I mean. Like this
yeah.
dude, he tapped in.
Well, and I read something about him and Einstein had this way of they would have a thought, but they would be able to step back and kind of walk around their own thought and see
Mm-hmm.
it from all these different angles. So if you came up with an invention, then he can essentially break it apart by just walking around and looking at it. And Einstein used to supposedly be able to do that with his mathematical equations and shit too.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love that. Oh, and I mean, it just sounds like an out of body meditative experience.
yeah. Well, and his ass, I guess, just would never sleep too. Tesla, something like 2 hours a night. So that's all he did was just think about this stuff 24/7.
Man, I
Or
haven't been sleeping.
22/7 because he slept 2 hours.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
He was such a weird dude
He
too.
really was. It sounds like he did not do well with other folks. He was a very vulnerable and naive person. I kept reading over and over.
Oh yeah, with the gambling addiction. Poor
Oh, I
guy.
didn't read that. He had a gambling addiction.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
He died in a hotel room that he'd been living in. All his stuff was in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't very fancy.
Well, I read. Well, we could get to that, unless you want to talk
Okay.
about his death now.
Ah, shit. Let's go back before that.
Yeah. Cool. No, that works for me. Well, you know how we are on this show. Well, here, let's go through these inventions real quick. So, let's see. So we had the AC power, and it's, the standard of this day. So he came up with this device, the alternating system, and he ended up selling that patent to the Westinghouse company for
Mhm.
like 60 grand. It sounds like he gambled it off. And we already
Yeah.
talked about the induction motor.
Hmm.
And then the fake ass Tesla coil picture I got.
Sorry to hurt your
But
feelings.
so no, the Tesla coil too, even though this picture's fake, apparently um, in his warehouse, he had wires all the way around it
Hmm.
that these surges would dissipate into. And he had wireless power in his place that without that magnifying transmitter.
Hmm.
And so he could just walk around with light bulbs and they would light up, or whatever devices he had in the place would just work without having. But have you ever heard of Tesla coil? It is insanely loud.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't heard one.
It's like,
No.
it sounds like just like lightning going over and over and over again. He also invented hydroelectric power.
Yeah, wowza.
Isn't that crazy? He built this, I think this is the original one. He built it in Niagara Falls.
Hmm.
And within a year, they were able to power all of Buffalo, New York. And so I put a little schematic here to show you how it worked. So same thing, he would get the magnets going with the generator. He would have the water come in, and then the magnets would spin or the water would spin the turbine, and then the magnets would heat up, or turn it, and then have the boiler go, and that's how they would create power. Fucking
Hmm.
absolutely insane.
Yeah, and so
And it
simple.
goes on and on and on. Absolutely endless. Imagine he even invented neon. So
I
like
didn't mean
neon
simple.
signs.
I meant efficient. Yeah, I was surprised to hear that too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just a weird dude. Well, and him and Marconi, I guess, were both racing for radio. And they both, Marconi is the one who gets all the credit for it, like everything else, Tesla. Um, but I guess they even would talk about each other. And that brings up my next point. People always talked about the rumor that he intercepted an alien contact when he was testing radio for the first time.
In Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. It was like 1899 or something like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I came across this article where they like interviewed him about it, And there's some pretty cool stuff, so I wanted to read these excerpts. It goes, even now at times I can vividly recall the incident and see my apparatus as though it were actually before me. My first observations positively terrified me, as there was present in them something mysterious, not to say supernatural. And I was alone in my laboratory at night, but all the time the idea of these disturbances being intelligently controlled signals did not yet present itself to me. Here's your language of the time. It's all it's not as bad as a lot of that stuff, but you can tell it was some time afterward when the thought flashed upon me in my mind that the disturbances I have observed might be due to intelligent control. Although I could not decipher their meaning, it was impossible for me to think of them as having been entirely accidental. The feeling is constantly growing on me that I had been the first to hear the greeting of one planet to another.
Yeah.
And so I guess he would speculate after that it was the main culprit was alien related. And like he wouldn't say it, and he wasn't saying it at first, and then him and the Marconi, I guess, kind of talked a little bit, and he said Marconi agreed that it was
like of intelligent origin.
Well, they both wanted to refine the technology to see if they can, like, basically get a phone line to wherever this place was going, and Marconi agreed that it was perfectly legitimate pursuit, and they both pursued their own radio communications, trying to communicate with aliens on a regular basis, which I was quite surprised about that. It goes, I have encountered during my experiments with wireless telegraphy. Telegraphy? Let's go telegraphy. A most amazing phenomena. Most striking of all is receipt by me personally of signals which I believe originated in space beyond our planet. I believe it's entirely possible that these signals may have been sent by the inhabitants of another planet to the inhabitants of Earth. If there are any human beings on Mars, I would not be surprised if they should find a means of communication with this planet, and linking science and astronomy with that, electricity may bring about almost anything. And so, the article stirred a lot of shit for the time, and there wasn't much talk about it at that point, you know what I mean? So clearly this probably would have really got people going. It even caught the eye of his buddy Edison, who tried to make him. It says Edison was fascinated by the idea of pursuing radio technology for purposes of communicating with aliens on Mars, and would himself say, although I'm not an expert in wireless telegraphy, I can plainly see that the mysterious wireless interruptions experienced by Mr. Marconi's operators may be good grounds for the theory that inhabitants of other planets are trying to signal us. Mr. Marconi right in stating that is entirely within the realm of possibility. If we are to accept the theory of Mr. Marconi that these signals are being sent by inhabitants of other planets, we must at once accept it. The theory of their advanced development. Either they are an intellectual equal or are superiors. It would be stupid of us to assume that we have the corner of all intelligence in the universe. Notice how he didn't say Tesla at all. He only he still had the thorn in his side. He gave it all to Marconi.
Yeah, poor dude.
Yeah, I know.
Railroaded his whole life.
Well, and I guess that the gambling thing's still catching me, because when we talk about his death later, it kind of would explain some stuff that I read. There was one little bit left. So supposedly, when he was doing this, Tesla invented actual towers so he can eavesdrop on these sessions of aliens between us or them and the human race. And he would express enthusiasm and optimism in his endeavor. Jesus Christ, I'm really blowing it with words tonight. And once he wrote, one day my ear caught what seemed to be regular signals. I knew they could not have been produced upon Earth. Marconi's idea of communicating with other planets is the greatest and most fascinating problem confronting the human imagination today. To ensure success of a body of competent scientists should be organized to study all possible plans and put into excitation. That's a new word to me, too. Excitation the best. The matter should be directed probably by astronomers with sufficient backing for men with money and imagination. Supposing that there are intelligent human beings on Mars, he was obsessed with Mars. He thought that's the only place they could live.
Yeah.
So maybe he was seeing those shadow figures too. Who knows?
It seems like time period though. Like
Yeah.
the whole it was synonymous with like out of this world.
No, I think you're right.
Our
Supposing.
consciousness has grown to expand like hopefully to the edge of the universe, right? At this point we can see that with the Hubble, you know what I mean? Like
Oh, yeah. Well, Nate.
and as well. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So supposing that there are intelligent human beings on Mars, success is easily within the range of possibility. Most certainly some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. Personally, I base my faith on the feeble planetary electrical disturbances which I discovered in the summer of 1899, and which, according to my investigations, could not have originated from the sun, the moon, or Venus. Further study has satisfied me that they must have emanated from Mars. All doubt in this regard will soon be dispelled. I have observed electrical actions which have appeared inexplicable, faint, and uncertain. Though they have given me a deep conviction and foreknowledge that ere long all human beings on this globe as one will turn their eyes to the firmament above with feelings of love, reverence, thrilled by the glad news.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool.
Certainly not the case.
No.
I mean, I definitely agree that. Well, I guess I was a little freaked out when I did that meditation, but I'll do it again at some point.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was really cool. That, well, the way he was speaking is,
We should be excited about this.
well, we should be extremely excited. And he was like, we're not the only ones here. And at that period of time, it was still taboo to say that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a couple people in that time period that, with telescopes and stuff, they would see what we know now are like dry riverbeds, and they thought they were roads. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he like traced it all out, and he had like names of roads and everything. So I think it was.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying you're probably right. That time period it was like Mars, Mars, Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was just the outer limits at that point.
Yeah.
But he explored that stuff and was able to tell us this because he wasn't using telescopes. He was using like radio astronomy.
Yeah, and electricity
Did he develop that? Like that's his thing, right?
Well, yeah, it was like him and that Marconi guy. It was like the radio. They were like the first ones to be receiving signals and stuff. So at that point, there wasn't a bunch of shit to muck it up,
Mm-hmm.
Unless fucking one of them was fucking with the other guy. It was like meep, more meep. So I want to know. Too bad there wasn't recording devices, or if there were, he clearly didn't use it. I want to know what he heard.
Didn't Edison develop a recording device?
Or was that? Well, I think it was for playing records, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they called it the Edison machine or something weird. I can't remember what it was called. The phonograph. Let's look it up. I'll know it when I hear it.
Oh, okay. So what happened in Colorado Springs while you Google that? Let me just say. He used inductive coupling and wireless electricity to light up the sky. That was how we were all going to get that free energy because he could also, with the inductive coupling, he could aim that shit to like lights or aim it to or anchor it to and turn them on,
Oh, yeah. Well, it's, from what I read, he can do it at least up to 1 kilometer. But there was some some accounts that he could do it up to like 60 kilometers.
Well, the one he did over Colorado Springs like ripped this guy apart.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
So, I mean, that man, jeez. I mean, he was just, oh, yeah.
When I saw a
So,
picture once or somebody like tried to redo that transmitter thing, and because of the way it had the frequency in the ground, they were just putting light bulbs in the ground all over the place and they would light up. I also saw
mhm.
something probably about 10 years ago. It was a Japanese company that was working on the wireless um, power. And they were on one side of the mountain and they shot a beam across the other side and charged a cell phone. So they're
Wow.
doing it.
Yeah.
So these probably, that's the last time I ever saw anything about it, though. So maybe they squashed that shit. And I don't think
Wow.
it so much was the wireless thing as he wanted it to be free for all. And that
Hmm.
angered many folks. And he tried to go around and get investors and stuff, and they're like, no, that's how we make our money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So he probably sold the patents to it, and then they just fucking made it disappear.
Didn't he make them all free for everyone? He put them out and didn't he? Yeah,
Well,
he
that
did
was his
something like
attempt. He
that.
had like a whole foundation called the Free Energy Project,
Hmm.
but it only lasted a few years before. And I guess that's when he kind of spiraled even more into loneliness, and he started working with military and stuff and creating things that are, you know, did you read about his peace beam or whatever?
No,
No. He
no, but it's ringing a bell like it's out there. Peace
well,
beam.
yeah, he called it the peace beam, but everyone else called it the death ray or something like that.
Hmm.
He supposedly can shoot like electromagnetic energy to such a fine point that you can stop an entire army like 200 miles away from you. And so his
Hmm.
idea was that if everybody has it, no one's going to fuck with each other. But of course, that's not how it went.
Right.
And so he went around trying to sell it to, you know, all over the world. And only the Soviet Union was interested, apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If they were interested, did they get it?
Well, that brings up, when they ended up alone in New York City. I guess in 1934 is when he started shopping around that peace beam. And the dude in the Soviet Union is named Sava Kasanovic. He's the only one who was interested. So I
Hmm.
guess he gave him $25,000. But part of that $25,000, it's he got to everything in Tesla's will, including his safe. And so the story that I read, and this is like on the FBI website apparently, um, after he died, that Sava guy, all the possessions. There was a form of the government where they called it alien relations, not like extraterrestrials, but foreigners. They called it
Hmm.
alien relations back then. And supposedly the FBI documented this, and there was all kinds of witnesses that they went and got his possessions and took it to this warehouse in the alien uh, department or whatever I just called it,
Hmm.
alien property department.
Hmm.
But and then supposedly it ended up back in the Sava's hands, and some of it's on display today, but I haven't seen any of it.
Hmm.
I tried looking for it.
I knew that he'd gotten raided, but I didn't know who did it.
Well, and
I was just like,
supposedly he
oh, the
was.
government.
Well, there's a couple other theories I read, but that was the most logical, and they say it's well documented, but I couldn't find anything on it.
Hmm.
The other one, what did you hear about it? About
The
his
other one.
death?
Oh boy. That he just was. Oh, I guess it was. So he fell in love with the pigeon.
Hmm.
And I remember like first hearing that from Harmon
Oh,
from
really?
Sofa Bab show
Yeah. Sofabab.com.
that he fell in love with this pigeon. And I went in, like I looked into it, and he said this pigeon died, he was talking about it like, I love this pigeon, like I love with the love I'd have for a woman.
Hmm.
And oh my, like just wow, and he needed that though. It's almost like he couldn't be distracted by by money or by women.
What if,
So
yeah.
he was so tapped in here,
What if
like,
he was so lonely at that point
right.
in his life?
Yeah.
That was his only love interaction was with a bird. That's interesting.
Yeah. So like brilliant and bringing
Yeah.
the unmanifest manifest.
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, like that took up all of his time except for pigeon time
Yeah.
and gambling.
I wish I would have read more about the gambling. I was more into his inventions.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to see the conspiracies around his death because I know there was several of them. But that
Hmm.
one was, the gambling made me think about that 25 grand. So he's just like, somebody give me money. I'll give you my will or whatever. I'll give you all my possessions.
Hmm.
So that one makes sense with the gambling addiction.
Yeah, he just bet it
Yeah.
maybe and lost it.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But they said, yeah, that apartment he lived in New York was miniature.
Yeah, it was a hotel room,
Yeah. And,
full blown. He just lived in it. He
and
was
just
so
had a
well. He
safe.
was in his 80s.
Yeah. I think it was
He looked like
86
shit.
when he died. Well, the other one is that he was killed by Nazis.
Mm,
Have you heard that one?
I think so.
So supposedly, and this is, it was 1943. So that's when he died.
Mm,
But in October of 43, I guess Hitler's bodyguard, his name's Otto Skorzeny,
mm.
talked about how Hitler made him go to New York because he wanted all, when you follow anything with Hitler, he was obsessed with, the paranormal. He was obsessed with technology. And he said that Hitler sent him there to suffocate him and to steal all those possessions and bring him back to Austria,
Mm.
which would, that's also fairly plausible on the account that he was so obsessed. I mean, he had a whole sect of his army that went around the world looking for, paranormal shit. He was
The Holy
obsessed with
Grail.
time travel. He was obsessed
Mm.
with mass destructive weapons. And, 10 years earlier, he had that weapon. If Hitler was more in power, I bet you he would have bought that son of a bitch.
Mm.
But then I guess I also read, which I thought was interesting, is his bodyguard also said that Hitler never killed himself. And then he had proof of the dental records of his body double, and no one believed him.
Mm.
Yeah. I think they didn't want to believe him also.
Yeah, man. I don't know, because I've always felt like he was super old. He was just so fucking old, and he didn't take care of himself, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't eat very well, and
Well, and
he
that was
worked
that
constantly.
for his entire life.
Right. Just getting, yeah, playing with electricity.
Well, and that was all the historical stories I read were that he was just an old man, a lonely old
Hmm.
man with no money, and just died, and his shit just got misplaced afterwards.
Nah, he got raided.
Yeah.
They took
Mm.
everything like the minute he died.
Well, it could have been that uh, Sava fella.
Mm.
He's like, that's my shit. I bought it.
Waiting in the wings.
Yeah. So I wonder if the stipulation was you can't kill me or you don't
Mm.
get it. But I don't know how he would have stopped that.
Oh, he was such a smart guy. He could have figured something out.
Yeah.
Left like a note with what's his buddy's name? Marconi.
Marconi.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, there's that fucking song. Marconi does a mamba. Listen to the radio. You ever heard that?
Oh.
You ever heard that song? Do you remember? We built this city on
Oh,
rock and roll.
yep.
Yeah.
There it
So
is.
that song's been stuck in my head ever since I've been reading all this shit.
Is that what that's not what they say, right? Is that what it sounds like they say?
In the song?
Yeah.
No, that's what he
Or is it?
says. Marconi does the mamba. Listen to
Oh.
the radio. At least
Oh,
that's.
oh, oh.
Yeah.
Misplaced. It should have been Tesla.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Well, too bad. I bet you neither of them would have thought radio would have turned into shitty pop songs.
Hmm.
They're like, we should be listening to aliens. Although all that technology is used all the time in astronomy,
Mm-hmm.
radio telescopes. That's where they got the first photo of a black hole. Was from a
Mm.
radio telescope.
Yeah, what were we talking about with the white holes?
Oh, interesting you brought that up. I watched a whole program on it. Not even on
Did ya?
purpose. They have
It
no
just,
idea what the fuck it is.
huh.
It's just theoretical at this point.
Does it emit light? Is that why it's a white hole?
Well, they think it's the opposite of a black hole. Instead of sucking it in, it just emits.
What if it's the back end of it?
Yeah.
What if
And
it's
that's
the
kind
other?
of what I've heard or what they've said in that program I was looking at. And these are all physicists. It's either the other side of a black hole or maybe a black hole that imploded on itself or something,
Wow, what
which would
if
be
it's
even more interesting.
because everything goes in the black hole and the spaghettification of like photons and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all that energy gets condensed to fucking darkness, black,
Mm-hmm.
to nothing, you know? Shit. That's amazing. I think we have to stop thinking about one-dimensional universe too, because it is absolutely that's what I was saying with the thought photographs and the artificial retina. Like he had a hand in that. I wish I looked deeper into it to explain better how he did, but
Yeah.
it was as if he were on the other side of it though, looking at it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Einstein walking around.
Him and Tesla both talked. They were able
Yeah.
to just kind of just picture it that way.
Step outside
Einstein
of their
called it
thought or
his
idea.
mind experiments. That's what he would call them. I don't know if
Beautiful.
Tesla had a name for it.
It's like stepping outside of the hologram for a minute, which we can do if if you believe in the science.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess it takes a belief in that for it to work. And twice when you were reading before it, he spoke about imagination, people
Mm.
needing imagination in order to utilize this stuff, and then to greet with reverence other, what do you say, other terras, or what do you say, um anyway,
I don't know. I forgot.
dang it. You have it written down. It was like the last thing he said
Yeah.
in that like the declaration that there is life in the outer
I got you.
space. Oh, did you have it pulled up? I thought you'd had
Well, I had it
series of
pulled up, but I
cards or
got rid
something.
of it. Now I got it pulled up again. It says, faint and uncertain though they were, they have given me a deep conviction and foreknowledge that ere long on all human beings on this globe as one will turn their eyes to the firmament above
Firmament.
with feelings of love and reverence,
Nothing
thrilled
to
by
do
the
with
glad news.
thrilled.
They're
And
like,
we're all
ah.
terrified.
They're like, yeah, go
Not
in
all
your
of us.
apartment and shut up and die.
Give me all your shit.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about the Philadelphia experiment?
Yes, and his involvement, or
Yeah.
he was like quoted. It's iffy on if he was,
Yeah, but it was.
but pretty sure he was.
Mm-hmm. Well, that shit's nuts. If anybody doesn't know what the Philadelphia experiment is, they took a fucking battleship and made it disappear, and it's well
And
documented.
the crew on it.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
They teleported it, and then
in.
people came back like embedded in the boat hull.
Mm-hmm.
It was in. I mean, and
There's supposedly
Well
pictures, yeah,
documented.
and all military things at that point were all video, recorded and pictures, and so I'd like to see that shit.
Dang it. All right. So I kept wanting to bring up that he had this device he could put on a building or a ship, and it would create the resonance throughout the entire building. Like it took a while to warm up, but once
Mm.
it got to this frequency while attached to that building, it could bring the whole building into that. And he tempted it or tested it, and tried to sell it to people by showing them. I think he was on a big base or something, a massive building, lots of employees and personnel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he put it on there and turned it on. He's like, I can make it feel like there's an earthquake. And it shook the ground beneath the building, and it set off alarms and shit. And he was like removed from the building at that point. And
Wow.
but to have that on like a battleship, and to be able to direct that, the resonance of the entire ship to like get that ship to 7 hertz, and you can send it in the ionosphere. It's
Mm.
probably what happened.
Imagine being one of those poor bastards stuck in that fucking hole. I wonder
Oh
if he died
wow.
immediately or if they were just like had to blow it up or something. I want to look into this more. I don't know if we could do a whole show on it, but definitely
Would
a
they have
little
to like
segment.
surgically scrape him off?
Yeah.
Just leave the legs?
How horrible will you feel? You invented that, and then you're like just looking like, oh fuck,
What do I do now?
shit.
Whoa. Just incredible. Look, maybe we should look into that next.
I'd like that one's
Or
pretty cool.
someone. It's super cool.
At least a little segment on it. I don't see why
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. I wonder if there's been other shits like that.
Likely.
But I love how it's all kind of playing in together. I have some other notes because I wormholed, and I kept wormholing. I've always been interested in Tesla, and like, but it's like the thought process. It always takes me um down. So 8 hertz in the ionosphere, and he was able to. That's what gives. He's the vessel at which free energy would arrive to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I don't know, that frequency there. But so, and then 4 to 8 for theta for astral projection. The human brain operates at 13 hertz, just active intelligence. So I mean, you have to train yourself or dive into binaural beats in order to change the way your brain resonates, and then access those tools that Tesla and Einstein had, stepping outside of the hologram
I
and
kept
shit.
meaning to watch that thing with headphones this week, but I was so damn busy. The
You
one,
don't,
the
I've
video
looked
you
into
had.
it. You don't even need the headphones for the binaural beats.
I just would like to. I got nice ass headphones. I think
Right.
it'd be more intense, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. You could get that real right left shit going on.
I actually just got a dongle for my phone so I can use these. I've been using earbuds and they hurt.
Oh, yeah. I hate earbuds.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla wouldn't have stood for those kinds of earbuds. Do you have an Apple phone?
Yeah.
Those are the worst earbuds.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yep. They're super hard. The new ones, I guess, are good, but they're like 200 and some odd bucks, but
We'll
they have the
talk off air. I'll
squishy.
get you some better ones.
Mm.
That'll, if you're going to spend the money, that are better than those.
Which ones?
Bose.
Bose. Yep. I had some Bose ones for a minute. I
Yeah.
loved how they fit.
They fit and they sound better.
They do sound pretty good.
Yeah. Imagine a Tesla cell phone. It'd be way cooler.
That would be so cool. And he totally thought it up and just like blurted it out.
Yeah, I guess, well,
You
that's why I
know.
said earlier he was a futurist. There was all kinds of shit he predicted. That's nuts.
Oh, I kept wanting to go into the 3, the 6, and the 9 too. I was hoping that you might have stumbled upon that.
No,
But
I
he
don't know
says
what
if
that is.
you can you will you Google it real quick? Tesla 369.
Sure.
He's like, discover the magic of the 3, the 6, and the 9. and something like that's the keys to the kingdom, essentially. I wonder what he says.
This is a divine code
Yeah.
369. It's all videos.
So go to
Let's see. It says Nikola
yeah.
Tesla 3, 6, and 9. If you only knew the magnificence of the
Mm-hmm.
3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. The 3, 6, and 9 represent the pathways that force energy, information, manifest through form material. To
Yes.
form material.
To manifest through form into
To
through into form.
manifest through to form material. So
That's that's a sentence.
yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So it says, how can I do 369 manifestation? Embarking on 369 manifestation is pretty simple. Sony shares, first thing the morning after your alarm goes off, write down that you're trying to manifest 3 times. Then in the afternoon, repeat it 6 times. In the evening, before bed, write it 9 times.
Go into images. That's fun and all, but that just seems like somebody's hokey. This is how you do it. But look, yeah. So this thing that looks kind of like a star,
Sure.
third picture in, do the third picture in.
Oh, that's a video.
I
This
wonder if
one
you can
here.
blow that up.
Let's see. Nope. They make it
So
suck on here.
what does that say? Does it have a link?
It's just YouTube.
All right. I wish that I could see these things clearer.
Yeah.
But there's
For some
something
reason, when I
in
Google
those
crap on
numbers.
here, it makes it a small photo. Oh, wait. Let's see. Nope. Stupid.
Well, click the one that says 369 theory. It's just an infographic, but let me
This
read it.
thing here, the key to the universe.
No, this blue one with him in color holding. What is that? Planet Earth?
Oh, yeah,
The
it's a
blue, it's
video
like
too.
the. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It says if you only knew the magnificence of the 369 again. It's the key to the universe.
Maybe just Google the 369 theory then. Because it's an equation, and that like model is mathematically some kind of something. It's worth digging. Oh yeah, no matter how many times you divided. Okay.
How did I just miss it?
Ooh, that looks like somebody's.
It's the same thing.
No,
Write it
back.
down.
Go back. That's somebody's like coaching business. They're like, this is how you do it. Oh shoot.
I got it.
All right. I'm like, where's my phone? I'll do it.
I gotta figure out why the hell it won't let me blow up photos. I'll do that. Which one was it that you saw you wanted to look at?
Well, go down. I think you clicked on the one that I was looking at, but it turned out to be that lady's.
Yeah.
Whatever. Seemed like a lady's book club.
Well, it says why Nikola Tesla 369 theory is called the key to the universe. Do you think that one will
Just
show?
see if what is the theory? Like what how is it
That's what I put.
explained? Go down again.
All right,
Some
let's
more.
try this.
Pass
It says according to the theory, writing down your intentions 3, 6, and 9 times. Same thing. So it says write down your intentions 3, 6, or 9 times will take at least 17 seconds, helping you tap into the state of true manifestation. A few strategies can help make the 369 manifestation technique even more powerful.
Ooh, it's 11:11 right now.
Is it?
Talking about manifestation.
It says
The key to the 369 riddle. To Tesla's riddle. Everyone should consider his body as a priceless gift. Wait. Oh, yeah. His body is a priceless gift from one whom he loves above all. A marvelous work of art. No, this isn't it. Let me see. In this trio, he was greatly interested in this trio, but he also knew he could not understand it himself. My brain is only a receiver in the universe. There is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know it exists. I mean, I feel like you have, bud. Like, don't sell yourself short there.
yeah.
No, I don't. 3 individual persons, 6 conditions, 9 the way. 3 the Holy Trinity, mind, body, spirit, conceived, or rather the awakening of the Christos, when the spirit comes to life for the first time, is known as Immaculate Conception or Kundalini awakening.
Hmm.
6 the condition, the end of the dark ages of Pisces, the beginning of Aquarius. That's totally happening right now. And then the way for what to, or I think we're already in the age of Aquarius. No, I don't know. I think we're nearing it. I wonder if any of my tarot friends might comment
Yeah,
on
maybe.
that. So,
Well, it's looking like
um,
even it's called the golden ratio. And they used to use it in the Renaissance, and Da Vinci would use it in his paintings.
hear this. 9 the way. For what's to come, you have to balance the 9 enzymes that make up oxytocin and detox the body to rid toxins from lemon. Vitamin C is, they said, equals 8 infinity. Proverbs 19:8. He hath getteth wisdom, loveth his own body soul, and keepeth understanding shall find good. Good grief. What the hell am I reading? So no, I don't know what's happened. I was buying into it. Where did it go? Dang it. Oh, okay. 3 individual, no immaculate conception, crucifix, a crucifixion or whatever of the Christos. The condition Pisces, Satan condition prevail, humanity stays in exile. 9 the result 2000. Whoa, this is WordPress. I guess it's just somebody's WordPress then,
Hmm.
right? Number 18 represents life. I don't know. Is this all just golly?
I don't
I'm
know.
trying to find, there was like some kind of math where you were either like you couldn't get outside of those 3, or how those 3 related to the numbers beside them in that star. Shit, that's what I was looking for. Sorry to venture off into weird.
Don't you worry. I don't know. It's fucking pretty interesting. In that little article I was just reading when you were reading that, it said that he would always walk around a building 3 times before he'd enter it and that kind of shit. So he must have been pretty obsessed with it.
Yeah.
3, 6,
Yeah.
and 9. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna start writing down shit, and maybe I'll start getting my own Tesla. I'm gonna write.
Oh,
I'm gonna write down Tesla 3 times, and then 6 times, and then 9 times before I
hell
go to
yeah.
bed.
And then don't even worry about how it's coming. Just forget about it. Let it go. It'll come to you.
All right, I'll take it.
But go into those theta binaural beat videos
Yeah.
and start practicing. But it's interesting too, because 7 hertz, I think it was 7 that got him to rip open the hole over the dimensional hole over Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where, I mean, that's, I feel like a good spot for you to be in an out of body experience. So they call that though the shit, specifically they call it like known, oh, it's especially dangerous infrared sound, or infrared sound. Dang it, I think I even practiced that. I'm like, that's what I was looking for the other day. Infrasound, that lower, because it's known to disturb the heart or brain. Disturb the brain and the heart. That's what I mean, that's what you use for manifestation, for astral projection. Like you have to get the heart also in a rhythm
Yeah.
that's, in alignment with our planet,
No.
so that you can permeate your body and explore. Oh,
All these guys seem to kind of be doing the same kind of stuff, different time periods. So they're on to something.
yeah. And from what I know of secret societies, and
Mm.
since I've been in one, there's a huge emphasis. There's like a mystical gag order. People can't talk about these things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all the same shit.
It's
Being
crazy.
able to condition your body and your imagination to be accepting of what is so suppressed and stigmatized in our modern society, keeping humanity in exile.
You hear that,
That's
people?
why,
Get in
huh?
tuned with your damn body. Get in
Yeah.
tune. including
with
myself.
your brain and your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting too on the High Priestess tarot card. The only way to reach that inner knowing, highly creative and intuitive High Priestess
Mm-hmm.
energy is to get in between and like balance out your mind and heart connection. That's what the two pillars are. And the pillars are important in those secret societies.
Hmm.
Pillars and checkerboard patterns and um it's almost like image shamanry is a thing, as well as with sound, because it's light waves and sound waves, and it's
It's
just
all
incredible to be
interchangeable.
looking into all this, because like Bigfoot comes and goes interdimensionally
Mm-hmm.
behind trees, it all ties in together. I love
Yeah,
that we're doing this.
me
I'm
too.
having fun. I don't know, I like getting into this. It makes me
Me
feel good
too.
about my
I'm listening to a lot or reading a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally do, so
Mhm.
I enjoy it greatly. I'm glad you do too. And I hope the audiences, actually, our numbers are going up every week, so
It's super nice.
it's pretty cool. We're about to hit 200 probably soon. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is Abnormal, Strange, and Weird. Go to aswcast.com for all our content. Green Heart Tarot 333. Did I get it?
Mhm.
All right, I practiced. And go to sofabab.com for our other show. We'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your week.